Hello, all of my friends out there. This is Maxine Taylor, and I have the forecast, the astrological forecast for the United States. Um, and I've got some very interesting things to share. And I have decided that right now, pre-election, I'm not going to go over the candidates' charts. Um, It, I want to talk about the USA. I hope this is okay with everybody because what I've seen is, depending on what news channel you watch, that's the kind of news you get. And I'm not going by the news, I'm going by the stars. Many of you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to talk about what is going on in the United States chart. I'm going to start with the sun. Now, the sun is the center of our life. Wherever it is in your chart, that shines a light on that particular house. So, these charts, this United States chart, is a mundane chart, not the chart of a person. Mundane charts, as many of you know, um, interpret their houses a little bit differently. So I'm going to do that probably every single month, as I've done in the past, because I want to make it really simple for everybody, no matter where you're at in your astrological studies, uh, everybody to be able to understand it. So let's just talk for a second about the sun, and I've put it in bright yellow. The sun is the center of our life. And so the sun starts off June in the first house. I'm going to read you the mundane interpretation of the first house, the attitude and political mood of the people, and public health. That's an oversimplification, but it talks about exactly what we need to know. So the sun is shining its light on the attitude, especially the political attitude of the people. And the sun heals, cleanses. It's one of the good guys. On the 10th of the month, hang on, I've got to get organized here. Yes, on the 10th of the month, the sun sits on the red planet, Mars. Now, Mars is passion. Mars is fighting. Mars is war. Mars can be sex. Mars is um, it's the antithesis of Saturn. You know what I mean? Mars is wherever it is, that's where it wants to be, and it wants to get to it now. With Mars in the first house, the United States has a certain amount of fight in them. The personality of the country is fight. Now, with the sun on Mars, it's really shining a light on that. And you might be saying, well, is that good or bad? Well, it depends on what people are doing and how it's being held. We can make great progress if we quit listening to some of the crazy people who are out there. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So on the 10th, we are galvanized. Probably on the 9th, we're galvanized. We're moving forward. On the 21st of the month, it moves into our second house of money. The sun does. And this can improve our income, our financial state, beautifully. Now, a lot of people say, well, how much money does that mean for me? I don't know. I don't know what your salary is. I don't know what you do for a living. But all I can tell you is when the sun lights up the house of money, our income increases. It's our earnings, our savings, our finances. It's the stock exchange too. It's banks. I mean, that's where we put our money. Debts and Oh, shoot. I can't read my own handwriting, guys. You know I can't. This also, the second house, has an impact on trade and commerce. And so when the sun sits on that second house, that is what is activated. Venus is the planet of love and money. Surprise. And it is activated. Jupiter is abundance and money. You just can't beat it. And let's see, this really starts around the 22nd of the month. So there can be increases in finances. No, it doesn't mean bankruptcy. It means an expansion because the two good guys, Venus and Jupiter, love and truth, are activated by the sun, the giver of life. I just love it. And so it will keep on going. Let's see here, through the 26th or so. So this is beautiful. Now, on the 6th of the month, we have a new moon. And that is when, well, we've already had it because today is the 9th. By the way, I'm so sorry that it's taken me this long to get this report out to you. Some of you have said to me, is Mercury retrograde? It's not, but it sure does feel like it is. So had a late start, part of which was my birthday when the celebration lasted just a little longer than I anticipated. I'm still recovering. All right, so let's talk about, again, the new moon. It's in our first house. And so our political mood has come, it's always active, but sometimes it's crazier than others because of the players. You know what I mean? Okay. It is in 16 degrees of Gemini, and that means it's going to sit on Mars. And you can expect a lot of noise, a lot of talking, lots of picketing, and Mars is war, not literal necessarily, but we're going to fight for it. It's the people fighting for what they want. That's how our country was made. Now, the full moon 2 weeks later is on the cusp of the 8th house. Traditionally, the 8th house is other people's money, secrets, sex, death, and goods of the dead. In a mundane chart, it rules the treasurer, debts, escrow, taxes, losses, of course, involving finances, deaths, and secrets. Now, with all of our electronics, our desire for privacy and anonymity has increased because there's so much going on. And we are unearthing secrets of all kinds, not just financial, when the 8th house is activated. I can't tell you how it's going to work in detail, but the 8th house is transformation, transmutation, other people's money. So with the sun in the second house, we're talking about our money. In the 8th house, other people's money. And the new moon forms an aspect called a great trine, which blesses the chart and gives it, let's just say, good news. Okay, so I'm very optimistic about this. All right, we talked about Venus. Let me just put this over here. Now, Mercury communication, correspondence, transportation. It rules our mouth and our minds. It's not action, it's talking. It is in our first house, sitting on our Mars. Now, when Mercury sits on a fighting planet, it might get louder, right? I'm sure it will. I know it has. And remember that that first house is the people's attitude, political attitude, the political mood. And so people are voicing their opinions. Mercury doesn't shoot the rifle. Mercury talks about getting one. All right. On the 17th, Mercury moves into the second house of money. And again, I'll read it because we want to hear about it. Money, our earnings, our savings, our finances in general as a country, the stock exchange, banks, debts, commerce and industry. And we are so blessed to have in this particular chart the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter, and the sun, the giver of life. So on the 18th, Venus is triggered, beauty and money. Money from luxury items, perhaps. Money owed us, perhaps. On the 21st, Jupiter. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, whatever house it's in. It's in the house of money. And last but not least, in the second house, the sun, the giver of life. And so Mercury is thinking, not necessarily doing, but it's triggering our attitude toward money, what we want from it, how we want to use it. Again, our earnings, our savings, the stock market, banks, debts, and personal finances. This will help our income. Now, you may have an idea of how much money you want to make. And this particular aspect can deliver. However, it doesn't necessarily know what you want. If you say, I want $1 million, well, you have to get out there and work for it, aren't you? And you say, well, I'm willing to do that. And I say, fine, go for it. So I just love when these charts coincide so beautifully. And on the 29th, Mercury moves into its own house, the third house, and it's talking and sharing ideas. The third house in the natural zodiac for the United States is communication, news, reporters, the mail, public opinion on traffic, travel, books, newspapers, in neighborhoods. It rules little neighborhoods, school, teachers, and neighborhood matters, public transportation. This is the house that Gemini normally rules. And so there's a lot of talk, lots of talk going on. I always get tickled when that happens because I'm a Gemini. Okay. And last but not least, Mars itself. Now, Mars is a warrior. It's in the 12th house of behind the scenes activities. I'm going to read you what this house deals with. Bribery, spies, hidden enemies. This is where spying comes in. Prisons, jails, hospitals, crime, criminals, charitable institutions, seclusion, the past, secret groups and societies, and welfare. This 12th house in a personal chart deals with the subconscious. There will be things done subliminally and subconsciously. I feel that each country needs to protect its own secrets without, well, you know, every country needs privacy, because if they exposed what they were going to be doing, there would be some enemy trying to get them to stop by hook or crook. So this is a tricky house. However, I want to tell you that on the 13th and 14th of the month, Mars triggers the anti-vertex. The anti-vertex is the opposite of the vertex. The vertex is your karmic role in life. The anti-vertex is the area in which you have control. You have no control over the role in your life. You came in with it. The anti-vertex says, I can change that. I love it. I love that duo. And the last planet I want to talk about, excuse me, is Jupiter. Jupiter, the greater benefic. It is in Gemini all month. And this means a lot of talking, a lot of communicating, talking going on at two different levels at the same time. As you may know, we have prisoners of war who have been incarcerated and accused of some egregious things. Citizens, not soldiers. Naturally, every country would like their captives returned. So when we're talking about some of these behind the scenes activities, it's very important then to keep them private so that the exchange can be made. And that Jupiter in the 12th house gives me great hope, because as we know, so many of our soldiers were captured, imprisoned, and they were not involved in war. They were involved in a music festival or something totally innocuous. So there will be progress. It will be secretive. It will be going on behind the scenes. That's fine with me. Just let our prisoners go. Let our captives release the prisoners. So that's what we got going on this month. You know, the news is getting crazier and crazier. And I certainly do hope that some of the troublemakers and rabble-rousers who want to stir things up just for the sake of getting more popular in order to get reelected, that's so old. So if you would like to visualize with me now a world of peace and love, a world where strangers smile at one another, a road where a country where love abounds, where people live in peace and harmony. That is exactly what I wish for. And some of you know this, I haven't announced it per se in this manner, but as you know, many of you know, I teach astrology, and I am offering classes for those who are sincerely interested in learning astrology, hopefully, so that they will become top-notch astrologers. I've talked with some astrologers, and I'm afraid they don't necessarily know their astrology, and for various reasons. And so in these classes, I teach everything I do, everything I know as an astrologer. And it takes about 9 months to complete the whole series. We have so much fun, and it's so information, it's chocked with information. So I'm thinking of starting a class, well, a course, which would be, as I said, 8 or 9 months, next month in July. If you're not on my mailing list, just go to MaxineTaylor.com and sign up if you're interested in my classes, because I have told Spirit exactly the type of student that I want. And what I have seen is that the groups that have just blossomed seemingly are filled with brilliant students. They understand astrology innately, and we have a wonderful time. And they have found a home, admittedly on Zoom. This home gives them access to information from me and beautiful friendships that will hopefully carry on year after year after year. And so, with that thought, till we meet again in July, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get the July forecast out in a timely manner, since I've already celebrated my birthday. So till next month, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now, guys.